Hello, everyone. This is Mark Edward Blanton from the Real South Africa. Thanks for joining us in this video. We truly appreciate it. Obviously, you guys know we do travel and tourism to South Africa, and we do it at a high level. People are really appreciating what we do, and we truly appreciate all the feedback from everyone, to include those who are on the fence about coming to South Africa and those who have already came and have left. I think we've done a great job helping people navigate their way to Africa, especially those that are coming from the diaspora for the very first time. One of the things that we're going to chat about, and it's pretty much going to be one thing, is about the latest COVID scare and so forth. I've been kind of thinking about it for a while, and there have been plenty of people here in South Africa and those in the United States that wanted me to make a comment or kind of give my take on what's really going on here in South Africa. One of the things that I do want to bring to you is the fact that, yes, they do have top-notch scientists here in South Africa. Yes, they've been dealing with viruses like this for a long time. If we talk about the HIV epidemic and other epidemics, they've been able to handle it for a long time. It's not something that we've done in the Western world a lot because it wasn't our concern, but they've been combating it for a while. So let me take you back to March of 2020. It's funny because when in 2020 we were here. Actually, we was in America, and then we got here in South Africa. Basically, what happened was they went on hard lockdown, and I know we got friends in the U.S. and that say, "Oh, well, we was on lockdown too," and I'm going to say a name only because here we was on a very, very, very hard lockdown because they knew what to do when it came to dealing with viruses and things like that. So it was nothing new. It wasn't a debate. It was just like a known factor. So with that being said, we went into a lockdown, and the numbers, around the world were increasing, and here even in South Africa, they were increasing. However, they wasn't increasing like what I would say. Here I am in Johannesburg, and I'm watching the news here, and I'm watching the U.S. news, excuse me, and of course in the U.K., and the numbers are skyrocketing, and so forth. And at the same time, nobody was taking measures. And my humblest opinion that they were basically, against wearing masks, against the protective measures to take care of the people, and at the same time, they were more interested in trying to get a vaccine, even though here we are. Normally, it takes years to get a vaccine approved. They were trying to get a vaccine in record time. So through this whole process, here in South Africa, we were actually not too concerned with a vaccine. I'm not saying that we wasn't going to welcome a vaccine because we have, and plenty of people have taken the vaccine. But I will tell you this: we actually did do all the measures that we needed to do, and we're still doing them as of this day. So when the president of South Africa came on TV, he says we're going to be locked down. That meant that you couldn't basically come outside. You only can go to your doctor's appointments. You only could go to the store to get essential items, which are only essential, and alcohol wasn't one of them. And then you basically had to stay at home. You had to wear a mask, and we had to social distance. And that went on for a long and extended period of time. So I'm going to say that South Africa did as much as they could to remedy the problem. Now, keep in mind that South Africa is probably leading in a lot of ways here in Africa and probably around the world, but you may not, you don't hear about it. But they're leading in a lot of ways, and I'm going to say when it comes to this, this virus stuff, they know what they're doing. Just keep that in mind. Now, just recently, this new virus called the Omicron virus has come out, and I will tell you, from a tourism perspective, I think it's something that across the world that we have to deal with. However, here in South Africa, with the level of scientists and the levels of doctors and the levels of research that they have their own CDC, health agencies, things like that. And I was just reading just this morning that the World Health Organization was thankful that South Africa had found this new strain that is very deadly. It wasn't that it was created here or it was populating here across everywhere because the truth is currently the numbers are low as far as people contracting it, and people are dying from it, and they're still reporting active numbers. But it's great that they just decide to let the world know that, hey, there's this new variant. And so it's kind of upsetting that at the same time they're letting the world know so they can work along with the rest of the world and the rest of Africa to sort this out. The rest of the world has kind of said, no, it's something that's down there. And the reality is, no, it was just discovered here, kind of like that first heart transplant that was done. It was done right here in the Republic of South Africa. So that just goes to show you, from several perspectives. But one perspective I want to bring attention to is that Africa and South Africa is very progressive, very progressive. If you've never been here and you only obviously watch the news or the Western media, you wouldn't believe it to be progressive. But they're very progressive down here in the Republic of South Africa. So just keep that in mind. It wasn't something that was created down here. It was just that the scientists here in South Africa are very progressive, and they're strong in their research, and they've been doing viral type stuff for a long time. So with that being said, it was very awesome that they were able to say, okay, we discovered it, we found it, we reported it to the World Health Organization, and now, the world knows. One thing I want to bring to your attention as well is that I kind of believe, and this is kind of like this is what I believe, is that I think other countries may have already known, especially Western countries, but they couldn't afford the financial hit, because of, the COVID and the impact that already has happened. Well, those types of impacts have happened down here in the Republic of South Africa as well. Tourism has taken a hit. A lot of sectors have taken hits. But however, like I said, we're still very strong in what we do down here as far as taking care of ourselves and taking care of the people that come here to the Republic of South Africa. For example, let's say you are a person in the Western world and you have had a vaccine, which I'm not going to elaborate, but I will elaborate. They still want you to have that PCR test. That PCR test is probably the most stringent test that you can take. That's topical, that you can take to detect it. And so to enter into the Republic of South Africa, you must have that test. Now, let me talk about those that are entering the Republic of South Africa. To be honest with you, it's mostly people that come from European descent. Those are the people that are coming here, spending time for lots of reasons. First of all, the tourism is awesome here. The weather is always is really great here. And then another thing, the opportunity. So they're here now, and that's not to say that the virus may have come from those places. But I will say, over the year and a half, we have been doing what we needed to do. If you go if you were shopping and you go from one store to the next store, you're going to use a sanitizer. If you go to the next store, you're going to use a sanitizer. If you go to another store, and if you go to 20 stores, you would have sanitized just your hands 20 times. If you touch something, somebody's going to wipe it off and keep it clean. And if you go to sit down at a restaurant, they're going to clean everything before you sit down. If they hand you a menu, if they're still doing that, because right now they use the QR codes, and then you use your phone and the menu pops up on your phone. So they're making every precaution. So I'm not going to say those types of things are happening in other countries that are not South Africa, especially those in Europe. We've had plenty of testimony from those that have come, especially from the U.S. and here. And the first thing they notice is, wow, they really go the extra mile to make sure everything is in order. And they do that for several reasons. First of all, they know they've been in this game for a long period of time. So they do understand what it takes to be safe in these environments. And so that's something that I definitely want everybody to know that's not here in South Africa. Trust me, we get messages saying, are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? And of course, I'm like, yes, we're great here. We're actually having a great time. things are going as planned and normal. But then when I go look at the numbers, and I say, okay, why are they asking me this? So I'm going to assume that our numbers are going to be elevated to some high number. And when I look, I'm like, they're not. So then when I do the comparison, I say that this person called me from an area code that's in the U.S. Okay, so I look at the numbers, and they don't even compare. I mean, the numbers are 5 or 6 times higher, if not more, than what we're viewing here in the Republic of South Africa at this time, or in the UK, which is even worse, and in other places. So I'm going to say that those European nations that are saying, hey, or even those in the U.S., we need to ban those people from coming to the Republic, that are coming from the Republic of South Africa. I would say, and I'm just going to be very frank and honest with you. I think the world needs to look at South Africa as an example of how to deal with this virus, because they've done a lot. Have they been perfect? No. It's a virus. All these countries, no matter where you find them, had the opportunity to decide how they were going to handle it, and this is what South Africa has done. So I would say, before you start saying, oh, it came from South Africa, it's a South Africa strain, or the Omicron strain came from South Africa. No, it was discovered here. Our scientists and those in this profession figured it out, and then they shared it with the World Health Organization, and then now we're doing shoot the messenger type situations. But I would say that South Africa is just as safe as anywhere else. Just keep in mind, when you do decide to come here as a tourist, or as a business person, you will be required. They're not saying, okay, people from other nations can't come, but you will be required at this point to take a COVID test, PCR, 72 hours prior to you arriving here in the Republic of South Africa. We never closed our borders. We never closed anything to anybody who wants to come. We just put in a requirement that you have that test. And when you come through customs, trust me, they're checking, because I just went through not so long ago, and they are checking to make sure that you have a negative COVID test. And then if not, then of course you have to quarantine if you're going to stay here, at your own cost. But we haven't really had that problem here. We understand that in other nations, especially those in the West, or what we consider the West, they're still having those problems, and they're still determining what the deal is. Lastly, I would say, and some people say this might be a little controversial, and I think it might be a little controversial as well. Here at the Real South Africa, we are making strides and inroads to try to connect, Africans and Americans, and those in the diaspora to Africa, and so. With that being said, I want to say that I think that our efforts and efforts of others like us are making an impact, and people are like, well, let's go to Africa and see what this is all about. Now, a lot of us understand that they don't want us to actually start working together. Between the AU, who they're setting up programs and things right now for us to be able to take advantage of, and for us to organize ourselves. They really want us disorganized. And so if you were ever looking at coming to Africa, this is the time. You need to come to Africa. And I can also tell you, when we were in the height of COVID, and a lot of you guys already know, especially those who follow us on our channel, we had people coming here against the advice of everything. But they came and they left, and they had a great experience. And their biggest thing was, they was like, wow, we're wearing our masks, we're sanitizing. I feel safe. I feel safer here in the Republic of South Africa than I ever did in Cleveland, Ohio, and Atlanta, Georgia, and Washington, D.C. I feel safer. It all makes sense. So I will say to you, like I said, hopefully the world gets over, this COVID thing. It's been around too long. It's caused too much havoc and whatnot. So I can say, let's do what we do here in the Republic of South Africa, and let's just be as safe as possible. We're still going to try to live our lives. We're still going to have fun times. We're still going to have weddings. We're still going to have funerals. We're still going to do everything in between. If we're going to do it, let's just be safe about what we do and how we do it. And if you want to know, you can always reach out and say, hey, what are they doing over there that we're not doing in the United States? And some of these things that you can do are things that are in your control. If you're waiting for the governor of somewhere or the mayor of somewhere to protect you, I think at this point, you're grown. You know exactly what you want to do. And for those again, who are not interested in coming to Africa, it's all a choice. It is truly an individual choice, just like if you decide you want to get vaccinated or not. It's a choice. But those who choose to come to South Africa, then find an avenue, but don't let them scare you, because I distinctly remember, I'm old enough to realize them talking about Ebola, Ebola, Ebola. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt like if I stepped any foot in Africa, no matter where they say it was, I'm gonna catch Ebola, and then I'm gonna die. Well, I've been in Africa for several years now, and haven't had an issue with Ebola. I've been here in South Africa with following the protocols that are here. I've been here for years, and I haven't had any COVID issues, and so forth. So, and I hope and pray that I don't have any issues. And if for those in the U.S. or in the U.K., anywhere else, I hope you guys don't have any issues as well. But if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at the Real South Africa. We're always available. If you have questions, you can hit us up at therealsouthafrica.com. And of course, you can hit us on our social media pages and so forth if you really want to know. And then I will also tell you, you probably want to book a trip here to South Africa as soon as possible. Right now, we're going into summer. We're in the middle of spring. We're sliding over when those in the northern hemisphere are going into your winter. We're going into summer, so there's a lot of good deals going on. We have a lot of good deals going on as well. You can always go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com. We're revamping it so you can even do more things on our website. So we would love to see you here in sunny South Africa. All right, guys. My name is Mark Edward Blanton from the Real South Africa, and we just wanted to let you know that there is an avenue to get to South Africa. It's through our company. We're based in Johannesburg. That really helps you out because we have locations like this that can definitely help you enjoy your time here. We sort out all your lodging, all your activities. We sort out everything for you because you don't want to be sitting here trying to figure out where you're going to go next. We take care of all that for you. So the best thing I can tell you to do is just reach out to us at the Real South Africa. Our website is www.therealsouthafrica.com, and then of course info@therealsouthafrica.com, and that'll help get you here too. So go ahead and let's start your journey to South Africa today.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on all things The Real South Africa. Thanks again.